Next, on Investigative Report. The Science of Love. Why most couples never attain compatibility. As couples, we meet, mate, build relationships, form close connections, fall in love, and hopefully get engaged to marry. However, many relationships today struggle with trust issues, which can affect marriage rates globally. In this episode of Investigative Report, we will look into the scientific factors that helped or hurt your relationship long before it began. And now, The Science of Love, why most couples never attain compatibility. Good evening, and welcome to Investigative Report. Many men want long-term relationships, but fear divorce, losing their assets, and possibly losing custody of their children. And these concerns are valid, but they can be avoided by making wise choices. However, making wise choices in love is often a challenge for many men. This is partly because there are no classes that teach the skills I will show you here tonight. Men are often more visual than other male creatures, which makes choosing a partner difficult in a world filled with beautiful women, many of whom may not be the somebody you want to marry. Now, many men who focus only on a nice body and an attractive butt do not look for a good wife until long after they get married. Now, this is when they rush out to counseling or they try to get help. How do I fix this? But by then, they often realize they have made a poor choice. The next thing they are thinking is, how do I get out of this without losing my shirt? Now, many of us carry emotional baggage from past relationships and childhood that affect how we view dating and marriage. It's a damage. This show offers a way to heal and start over. It helps men understand that even with good intentions, the woman they choose might not have been right for them. The love science secrets discussed tonight will help you find that once-in-a-lifetime right partner who supports your personal growth, who supports your career, who loves you as you are without anything connected. This show will explore recent brain studies that reveal ancient Greek theories about love and compatibility between men and women, that they are reflected in how our brains work. It suggests that love starts in the brain based on what we notice before we feel it in our hearts. So, for both genders, it starts upstairs before it goes downstairs. Now, researchers now use advanced imaging techniques to see how different brain areas activate during social and romantic interactions. So there are parts of our brain that light up in different regions when we see somebody we're attracted to. Now, this helps scientists and relationship experts understand how well people connect emotionally, sexually, and romantically. This research indicates that certain patterns of brain activity reveal a natural connection between soulmates. So you can find who you're looking for if you know who you're looking for. Now, that soulmate will help influence who we choose and who we should overlook, who we should walk past. Now, as I said before, human males are mainly visual creatures. We first notice our potential mates through appearance, which triggers important brain receptors when selecting a partner. However, visual cues are not the best indicators for finding a lifelong companion. In fact, relying on looks can lead to poor choices. Unlike many animals, we don't primarily choose partners based on smell. We're humans. Many male animals rely on pheromones to find female mates. For example, depending on the species, male animals can detect female pheromones from hundreds of yards to several miles away. If you want to see something amazing, black bears can sense females from as far away as 20 miles. So for many men, marrying someone based solely on good looks will not solve deeper-rooted issues like being lonely, financial struggles, or the need for love or sex altogether, which you require. Now, in fact, choosing the incorrect partner can make these issues worse, and they will make them worse and lead to feeling more isolated as a person, although you are in the same house together. In my 30 years of teaching relationship courses, I've seen many couples realize that they feel lonelier after committing than they did while they were single. Now, that is sad but true. If you want to build a meaningful connection as a single person, or if you wish to heal an existing relationship, it's important to learn about love's timeless secrets that ancient Greeks shared over 3,000 years ago. Don't listen to the mess you hear today. Don't listen to the arguments on YouTube that women are this and men are that. This hidden science has survived through time, offering knowledge that could have improved relationships before they even start, because that's where the breakdown occurs, not in a relationship, but before it starts. You see, the Greeks recognized 8 types of love, each reflecting the different feelings we experience each day. In this program, we will explore 4 of these types through brain imaging. First love up is that when we see the opposite gender and we fall in love, is eros love. Now, this stands for intense passion, often represented by Cupid you see on Valentine's Day. The next love, which is much higher, is philia love, and it refers to the love we have for our friends. Then the next one is storge love. It describes the love that families have for their children and each other. Finally, the last love represents deep, lasting love on a commitment level, which is crucial for long-lasting relationship. This is known as agape love. Now, this idea existed during Plato's time, about 400 years before Christianity, as written by the Apostle Paul. Now, I'll explain how brain science, ancient Greek ideas about love, and the idea of a soulmate are connected using a pyramid, as the Egyptians had, for visual aid. This pyramid will show the hierarchy of 4 types of those loves, from the most important to the least important. Each type of love matters, and when you understand the order in your life, you can do well both personally and professionally. Because after all, wouldn't you want to succeed at home as much as you do in your career? That's people's biggest problem. They succeed at their job, but not at home. Now, at the bottom of the love pyramid is eros, which means the physical attraction we feel for someone. This attraction starts in our brain, influenced by our past experiences, our current feelings, and our future hopes. Now, Harvard scientist Richard Schwartz and Jacqueline Oates found that when we see someone we find attractive, we become active. That's it. One part helps us notice rewards, and the other part gives us pleasure and helps us concentrate. This is what occurs in the brain first. And let's compare this brain activity with the Greek idea of erotic love, which is all about sexual attraction. Now, erotic love, or sexual attraction, heightens focus on looks, scent, and chemistry. Though these feelings may fade over time while remaining in the brain. So even if you break up, it still remains in the brain about the person. Now, brain scans reveal that love and lust activate areas such as the amygdala, insula, the orbitofrontal cortex, creating what you call a network that processes emotions, rewards, visual, among the 4 of these loves. Sexual attraction triggers the most brain activity. It has the brain on fire from the front of the brain to the back of the brain, just on a visual of somebody you deem romantic attraction. But later on, I'm going to show you why you deem this person as an attraction.
You're watching MNN, the men's channel.
Now, eros is the simplest form of love and often leads to dissatisfaction in a relationship. Why? See, people can use this type of love as a tool, switching feelings on and off, or connecting with many people without truly caring about them. It is seen as the lowest form of love because you can share it with many people or even just yourself through adult entertainment. And you know what I mean. This love does not require a real connection with the other person, which is why many relationships fall when they're based only on physical attraction or sex. When we choose partners just for this kind of love, we are focusing on a fantasy or a fetish rather than on a real person. In fact, the biggest battle when someone walks away from you to another person is, are you sleeping with that person? That's what everybody asks. The question is never asked, do you love that person? See, we're more worried about eros love because most of us in a society were raised on eros love because we don't know about the remaining 3 loves. That's why relationships break down.
I hope y'all don't mind if I get a little loose.
Hey, pull the deuce out.
I don't know why they acting like they don't know. Let's go. Can't nobody hold us down. Can't nobody take my crown. My mic, my light, my sound. What you talking about? I run this town. Invincible like rocket. Can't name none of one of y'all stop me. Or not me. Or rock me. Just sit back and love me. Jot me. You hear me and you feel me? Let me hear you say who rock the best. You rock the you hear me and you feel me, let me hear you say who rock the best. You rock the best. Gratitude. If you hear me and you feel me, let me hear you say who rock the best. You rock the best. Right on. If you hear me and you feel me, let me hear you say who rock the best. You rock the best.
When people are attracted to someone, their judgment can be clouded. Studies show that love or lust can reduce activity in the prefrontal cortex, which is a part of the brain responsible for logic, reasoning, and critical thinking. So yeah, you do go stupid when you see somebody you love or lust after. This is why people sometimes fall for someone who is clearly not right for them, even when their friends and family warn them. This is the power of eros love. It makes people stupid. Your mom told you all the time, don't go with this girl. Or your dad told the girl, don't go with this guy, and you did it anyway. You see, attraction can be influenced by our desires and by our experiences with parents of the opposite gender. Many men seek traits in a woman they like about their mother, while women may look for qualities in a man that remind them of their father or a caregiver. Now, sometimes people say couples look similar, which shows our desire for familiarity and comfort that we learned in family. Now, since these desires take place on a subconscious level, most people would not believe that they are looking for familiarity over newness. Everybody thinks they're looking for something new, but they end up with somebody like their mom, their dad, or a sibling because they're looking for themselves. People often seek a partner when they feel sad or lonely. This is the next main thing. This feeling of emptiness can affect anyone, no matter their wealth or health. It doesn't matter if someone is rich or poor, healthy or unwell. Anyone can feel lonely. In these times, we hope to find someone who can help us or someone we can help. A man in this situation will try to use his resources to help a woman who is in need, so he's rescuing her. A woman in this situation will try to help a man who is angry or using substances, seeing him as a good-natured person, but misunderstood by society as a whole. So at these times, we see something that is not there. And if somebody's in a position that's low, they may drag you down with them. You see, love can change how we see things. When we're in love, we tend to ignore our partner's faults. But after a breakup, we may only remember their negative traits. I call this the delayed reflective mind, which I introduced back in 1996. You see, breakups often happen when romantic feelings fade, if you're only in eros, and there isn't a deep bond to help us reach for a stronger type of love known as philia. So couples that start in eros, they have to move to the next higher level, being philia, for it to last. See, eros represents basic desires. Men and women are drawn to the bad boys, or men who are not right for long-term relationships. Men often look for adult clubs, streetwalkers, and similar attractions. If eros is the only type of love you know, you may see people in two groups: those you want to be with physically and those you would genuinely love for life. So somebody you would really love and then somebody you really love for tonight. That's the power of eros love. You have to decide which one. Eros often leads to three types of attractions: people who are similar to you, people who are different from you, and those who don't care about deeper connection, often looking for just a one-night stand or a physical relationship. So we can draw all three categories in eros, but we have to reduce that to just one. Now, if you choose eros without a deeper connection, you might feel lonely even when you're in the same bed with someone. Have you ever felt that way? You slept with the person and you look beside yourself and you feel just as lonely as if they weren't there. Many people complain to me that they believe there is no one suitable that they have found to trust to marry for an entire lifetime. In response, I argue that not only have they been looking in the wrong place for a partner due to their fear of rejection, but they also need to enhance their sense of what is known as deservingness. A lot of people don't raise their sense of deservingness. Let me explain.
You're watching MNN, the men's channel.
If you want to increase your sense of deservingness and stop getting people that are not good for you, you have to use this one concept. I've used it for many years, over 30 years. When people came to me, I said, the reason you don't have the right person in your life because you have not increased your sense of deservingness. And they say, what does that mean? So I give an example. When you were a child, boy or girl, you had your first job. So it may have been cutting grass, it may have been a paper route, or whatever little children have as their first job. A chore around the house that your parents gave you a weekly salary. And so I asked the person, how much did you make way back then when you were a child an hour? And some people say, I guess $8 an hour, maybe $4.75, whatever it was, it dates their age. Okay? So I said, that's fine. That was your first salary. And then I asked them, how much do you make today? And they tell me. Some people say they make $26 an hour, some less, some higher, some $150 an hour. So that's great. Okay, so that's what's called you increase your sense of deservingness. Because over those years, you wanted to accept a greater income and you didn't want to go down to less. Let somebody lose their job and watch how mad they are that they have to go for less income. But the thing of it is, what I'm explaining to you is that I asked those people, you say you make $56 now. Would you accept that $3.75 you got back as a child today if I gave you the option? And most people say, hell no, of course. Who will take that kind of money? Nobody. I said, but that's what you're doing when you choose the wrong mate for yourself. You won't accept a $3.75 salary per hour, but you accept a $3.75 person with you. Because most people has as a fetish when they were young, this particular person that they're with today. They have never updated their fetish. They have never updated in the heart what they feel they deserved. They update it in their job. They say, hey, I'm worth $150 an hour and I won't accept less. But when it comes to somebody in love, they're dealing with somebody who's worth $3.75, somebody who they should not even deal with. So it's one thing to increase your sense of deservingness with income, but it's another thing altogether to find out you've been cheating yourself by aligning yourself with somebody that you really should run from. Now, let's get back to the game. We'll get back to the show in a minute. I just want to remind you to join me for next time, part 2, The Science of Love. That's why I tell you, see, eros is a limited type of love that can lead to arguments and unhealthy ways of coping, especially when there is stress from your eros partner. That's when those things come out. Drinking, smoking, you get the idea. Many couples stay in this shallow love for 20 years sideways without moving on to deeper connections. That's where people have been married a long time, but it's just over eros. So you see, when the attractors fades, couples may feel they have lost love completely because they view sex as love. They only have one example, so that's love between men and women. There is no higher. So as we approach the end of part 1, remember what Carl Jung said. He says we often attract people who fulfill what we are missing instead of looking for that within. So we pull people to us because we're missing something. This idea explains why opposites attract. Now keep this in mind for tomorrow when you see someone you're attracted to in a crowded room. And I'll explain why. As my conclusion, I'm recalled Dr. Joyce Brothers quote. She says, love comes when manipulation stops. When you think more about the other person than about their reaction to you. So if you come back to join me tomorrow in Philia Love, you will definitely understand if you're in a wrong relationship, how to fix that relationship, or how to excavate yourself from that relationship. So when relationships fail, by the time we get to these 4 parts of the program, you're going to understand that is not just your fault. That's the way you were raised. Most of us understand one love level when dealing with the opposite gender, but there are 4. And we use those 4 for different people instead of that one person. So in the future, you want to learn how to judge a relationship. Judge it in 4 parts in the same person, not one part. Until I see you tomorrow, this has been Investigative Report.